The other element of chapter 6b for Spanish 2 is using more verbs like gustar. Gustar has an interesting formation. We can't just say yo gusto and tu gustas. Same thing with all of these verbs that we're going to learn today. So when we did use gustar, if you remember, what we had to have first was an indirect object pronoun. We didn't name it that, I don't think, in Spanish 1. We just learned the structure. But what we need to start with is the indirect object pronoun, which is me, te, le, nos, and les. So that's saying that to me, to you, to him, to us, to them, it is pleasing. Because gustar didn't actually mean to like, it meant to please. So then we've got a bunch of verbs where you're only going to really be using a couple forms of them for the most part. One of them was the verb gustar, which meant to please. So your two options were either gusta or gustan. And that was based on the thing that followed it. So if all of them were pleasing to me, I would use gustan. If bananas, plural, then I would use gustan. But if it was a cookie, then I would use gusta. So it'll be based on the thing that follows it, whether you use the singular or the plural form. The other verbs that we need to know are importar. So either one thing is important to me, or lots of things are important to me. Books are important to me. So I would say, me importan los libros. But my husband is also important to me, so me importa mi esposo. So this is plural because the books are plural. This is singular because my husband is singular. But it doesn't change the fact that it's important to me. So this tells me who it is, who the subject is, and that tells us what is important. The other ones that we need to learn are the verbs interesar, which is to interest, parecer, which is to seem, fascinar is to fascinate, doler was to hurt, to pain, to cause pain to. We had that one in our injuries chapter. Utilizar, parecer, fascinar. I know I'm missing some more. Okay. Aburrir, to bore. Molestar, to bother. I ran out of room, so I'm going to get rid of gustar up here. We have quedar and encantar. Quedar was to fit, encantar was to really like, I say to love, and we'll put gustar back up here because that was the OG, and that's to please. Okay, so those are all the verbs like gustar that we need to know. So you can choose to put some clarifiers on here. So let's say that she or movies fascinate her. Our order in English is going to be completely different from this, or in Spanish. We're going to start with the fact that it is fascinating to her. So to her, the movies are fascinating. We could start with her, or we could start with the movies. It doesn't matter. If we start with the movies, it'll be las películas. Now we need to say that it's fascinating to her. Which of these do we use? We'll use this one right here, le, because it's to her. Then I have to choose, is it fascina or fascinan? Well, it's movies that are fascinating, so that's plural. But if I just say le fascinan, do I know who it's fascinating to? If this is just a random sentence? No. So I'm going to clarify at the end, a ella. Las películas le fascinan a ella. And I could have done that the other way too. I could start with my subject, a ella. Then I match the indirect object pronoun up with her. Le fascinan, because las películas is plural. I like this way if the format of this is going to mess with your mind. It's kind of nice that right here at the beginning we start with a every single time without fail. We start with a mí, a ti, a nosotros, whatever it is. And then we match it up with our indirect object pronoun. Those go together, they're going to match. We're going to have agreement. And then in the second half, we will match the verb with whatever follows it. Fascinan is plural because películas is plural. So if you start it this way every time, we won't make mistakes early on. It'll be easy for us. So if you start with a, subject, then your pronoun, whoever it's interesting to, fascinating to, and important to, and then this guy will make sure that this is either plural or singular. And that's how we deal with verbs like Gustar.